tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh boy, here we go, folks. Keeping Up with the Kardashians after show right here on AfterBuzz TV, Season 11, Episode 2. It's called The Price You Pay. I am Bobby DeMuro. That is Frankie Dugan, Francesca. What do you prefer, Frankie or Francesca?
Both is fine.
Professionally, though.
Both are. I'm sorry, Francesca.
Both is fine.
English,
just us.
Everybody.
Yeah, prefer English. It's just us tonight. Sterling was actually at the AMAs this evening. Nick is, we've parted ways with... I'm just kidding. Nick is out of town this week.
I was so scared. Don't do that to me, Bobby.
After the bad attitude last week, I told the producers it was either me or Nick, and so they were ready to get rid of me.
Yikes. Oh.
All right. I can't believe you didn't see that joke coming. That was like in the pipeline.
I didn't.
Because we're at the start of a new season, I know a lot of y'all are, holdovers from last year. You've seen us a lot before. If you haven't, we're on episode 2 of season 11. If you're relatively new here, hit subscribe on YouTube, on iTunes. You can comment on YouTube. We check those, believe it or not. You can tweet us at XOXOCESCA.
Yes.
XOXOCheska.
Yes.
I am at Bobby DeMuro. We've got our phones literally on the table if you want to tweet us while we're live streaming. If you get this and you're watching this on Wednesday, we'll still be on Twitter, so it's a safe bet to tweet us or comment or whatever there. Let's talk about the show tonight. 2 things to talk about. I mean, a lot of subtopics, but 2 main storylines. Mm-hmm. We got to start with Scott.
No, we have to start with the fact that Kris and her daughter Khloe are talking about condoms.
Yes.
And they were putting them on a cucumber, and this is why I don't like cucumbers. They're just awkward.
And daughter, have you seen a lot of green penises?
I thought you were gonna say like green fruits or vegetables.
Well, no, I mean,
like,
fruits
the
are green.
avocados.
Fruits are green.
No, I hate cucumbers.
Well, like, what did Jonah Hill say in Superbad? We were just talking about Superbad off camera. All the best foods are dick-shaped.
Oh my God, that's right. Like
popsicles, hot dogs. Corn on the cob. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I got to rethink a lot of my food choices.
You'll be thinking about it tomorrow. Everybody who's eating something right now or after they watch this will be thinking about this.
Put it down.
Unless you're eating like a sandwich or something, you're probably eating something dick-shaped. I'm just... Look. This
Totes
is
awk.
Real talk here on Keeping Up with the Kardashians after show. Probably too real. Okay, let's talk about Scott. It was ironic, I guess, to finish your point about the cucumber. The daughter teaching the mom about safe sex and condoms.
So at first I thought it was so awkward. Then I realized she's been with, I don't know how much they had sex, honestly, towards the end, but she's been having sex so much with Corey. Mm-hmm. That's his name, right? I almost forgot. So that just means they haven't been using protection. Come on, Kris.
And I mean, at stage they were trying to be a little goofy, but yeah, Kris should get it together. Kris,
get it together. You never know. Sometimes there's still surprise babies.
That's true. What was it at the drag show tonight? Butt no baby?
Oh. Yeah, something like
that.
Put it in the...
Do you see how they all just come together?
Sex education, y'all.
Sex education with the Kardashians. Okay. Scott, focus. I got to be honest. We don't defend Scott on the show because he does dumb stuff, but we try to be, I think, really empathetic with him because he's going through a lot. I just tweeted this, and I didn't want you to look at it, so I would come into the show fresh. Scott has lost me. Scott completely lost me the second that he had the phone call with Courtney.
Yes.
Look, I get it, man. You're being dragged by the women a little bit. You deserve it, but you're getting dragged. So I understand that you're pissed and frustrated. I understand you're not in a place where you can take responsibility for yourself the way that you should. I get that.
Right.
I can live with that if you're doing something to improve yourself. But the second that he says, A, what else do you want me to do? Fold your towels or do your laundry?
Boss.
That was stupid.
Yes.
And B, and this is the really big one, this is the moment he lost me. So you're going to go over there and tuck in Mason? No, I'm going to Florida. What, excuse my language, what the fuck are you thinking about?
He's clearly not thinking. And like we said, we've been empathetic towards him, and I was feeling Chris when she said, I kind of want to reach out to him, talk to him. I completely understood that, but I'm gonna go with Kim, like always, and just, you know what, I'm done with Scott.
Yeah.
And I feel sorry for him, but I don't feel that sorry anymore for him, because you're a father first and foremost. And I understand addiction, and I understand that. But you are a father, and you're saying, oh, I'm just going to go there for like 30 minutes. You can't do that, because what are you going to do? Just like Courtney said, he comes in, he goes into the other room and, talks on his phone, makes other plans. Be there, have dinner. If you're going to Florida in 2 hours, maybe you should have pushed back your flight a bit. Just have dinner for at least 30 minutes and pop out if you want to be so short like that,
Dude loves talking about how he's a high roller, makes a lot of money, lives like he makes a lot of money, takes private jets from Vegas to LA and back and forth. You can move a flight to Florida, I would assume. I mean, maybe there's some life or death circumstances going on down there, but not based on the clues that we got, the contextual clues.
No.
Look, man, I mean, if you're not in a place to be healthy, if you're not in a place, I understand that, and that's serious. And that's why we've been so empathetic and patient with him, and more patient than Courtney should have been. But seeing this now, and this is the thing, a lot of this stuff was probably going on behind the scenes, and we haven't seen it on the show until explicitly tonight.
Right.
There's not a lot of moments on Kardashians that make me go, holy shit. That was definitely one. Because everything's so scripted, everything's whatever. And him dropping the Florida bomb, that's a moment, and not in a good way. I think Chris oversteps her boundaries a lot, as we've seen. I don't think she did it today.
Well, I pulling Courtney on the phone, ultimately, I think it proved beneficial, because we got to see that. But that was kind of awkward. You're calling... you ask Scott to come over and have dinner so you could talk. You don't pull Courtney into it, because that's the one thing he shuts down about and doesn't want to get. You see him get defensive when, like he said, what else do you want me to do, boss? But ultimately, you're right, it did kind of pan out.
Maybe I just think like the end justifies the means, but I still think that if this had been some other situation or something less important, maybe something without kids or just a regular breakup, Chris would have been over the top. But this is mother, this is grandmother, this is more than like business manager and more than TV. I mean, I know that's all part of it, but this is like mom defending her daughter, grandmother defending her grandkids.
And she even said that when she was talking to him. Yeah. When she was talking to Courtney, when she called her, you're my priority.
Yeah.
And I mean, as she should be.
Yeah, no, she's exactly right. And the grandkids are the priority, because they're the ones who are really going to get screwed when something comes up. I thought a really, really deep line from Courtney in this. I've got to get off this hamster wheel, because this is not what my life is going to be. I don't know this. I don't know if you know this, or if you do, if you want to talk about it. But both my parents are together. Like, never had this problem. Like,
yours?
Yeah, both of mine are. Like, didn't have this problem and stuff. But for Courtney to already be aware of that struggle that I've seen in other people, but I don't know personally. I don't know it as well. For her to already be aware of that, I think is pretty damn deep, and also depressing, to be honest. I mean, it's depressing to think about. This is the balance she's always going to rot with these kids. Yeah.
I think she's kind of been in denial this whole time, and she's finally, coming to it. And yeah, I hamster wheel stood out so much to me as well, because we're always like, oh my God, she's taking him back, but he's kind of put her on that hamster wheel, and she was just going so fast she wasn't able to get off. You know what I mean? So now she can slow it down and she can get off.
We hope.
Metaphors. You would think though, if she's spinning so fast, she would just fly out, right? No? Okay.
Sure. I feel like you've seen a lot of hamster like gifs online.
Probably.
I don't know. That scene to me was the pinnacle. Like, one of the more important scenes I've seen in Kardashians in a long time.
Like a lot of seasons.
In a lot of seasons. I mean, they've had a few like this, but in a lot of seasons, it's really one time where we explicitly see Scott doing something stupid. Like, we hear about it and we know he goes out and we know he does whatever, but we've given him the benefit of the doubt. We on this show all the time are like, well, he seems good with Mason, and he seems good as a dad, and the kids love him, and he loves the kids, and he's got these problems, but he's also got positives. And it's like, I didn't see any positives today. If you're going to Florida, you can't be there for 2.5 hours. At least be there for 15 minutes. That's still shitty, but you can't do that. It's like, what are you doing?
Well, that's what he originally wanted to do that, which I think is still shitty regardless.
Yeah.
Because you can't just keep, you can't pop in for like 10 minutes. Just like Courtney said, Mason's like, where's daddy going? And he's like, he made a face about that, and it's like, welcome to reality. We have seen him do really stupid things, and this, I think, definitely tops it because it was real. It wasn't him being drunk. It was him being sober. He might have been hungover or something like that, but sober enough to talk about your kids, and you just do.
Yeah.
But that makes me think about, you said we didn't see anything positive with Scott. I didn't think so either. But Malika in this episode, she kind of gave advice 2 times this episode. The first time is she's talking with Khloe about Scott, and she said, what did she say? What did we...
the positive behavior.
Yeah, reward his positive behavior. What positive behavior? He always texts Khloe. He and Khloe are close all the time. Anytime something goes on, he goes to her or she goes to him to try to help. What do you mean reward him for reaching out to you?
And reaching out after a month and reaching out, yeah.
No, there's no rewards. He's not doing anything positive.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe she said that. That was so weird to me.
Well, I don't really have a feel about Malika. I'm like neutral about Malika. I don't hate her like Jonathan Chayman, but I'm neutral about her. But I agree with you on that. I mean, it's tough for Khloe too, who's out of the country, halfway around the world. And we'll talk about Khloe in a minute, because it's a really different storyline. But it's tough for Khloe to get involved with the Scott storyline right now because she's the closest sister to him besides Kourtney. But it's like, what is she supposed to do? You want to... This is the Scott problem, actually. And this maybe is a generational problem. And older people might watch this and say, all young people do this, and they're kind of correct about this. We're on our phones all the time. And we text. We don't do face-to-face. We don't call. We tweet and we text because we can control the conversation that way.
Right.
We can manage it. So Scott's doing that with Khloe. Did you notice when Chris confronted Scott and when Kourtney and Kim were there and Scott walked in and walked out, how much eye contact was Scott making? None.
Okay, can we talk about that awkward moment?
And part of that is like is what he's going through and who he is, and he's at a low point to understate it. So like part of that is a mix of like shame and anger and guilt and depression. Well, I'm not a psychologist, but you know what I'm saying.
You're not?
No, surprisingly, I do not have a degree in psychology. That'd be horrifying. But the other part of it is, the dude just is not taking responsibility for himself at all. And when Chris calls him to the mat in a really respectful way, I love you and you're fucking up right now. That's literally what she said. It could not have been nicer.
Yep.
And you can't even look her in the eye. It's like, dude, you're not there yet. You're not ready yet. It's probably better maybe that you didn't come and see Mason MP and stuff because you ain't there.
Yeah. Like I said, even if he was there for 15 minutes, it wouldn't have been good at all because you're just showing your kids, oh, I'm just popping by. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's talk about how awkward that was. First of all, for Kourtney not to even mention anything. Like, I understand. She does keep a lot of things private to herself, especially when it comes with Scott. We've seen that over the seasons. But if you're having to, you're letting your sister kind of talk about him, though she wasn't talking badly, but like talk about him, you might want to drop a little like, little gesture. Scott's in the other room, whisper something. No, just let him walk in. Awkward.
Kim, the facial expression. You knew this was unplanned because
of her face.
Yeah, Kim never breaks character. Kim does Kim. Every time that she comes in for one of these scenes, she's always sitting there eating something, and she goes, "So, like, tell me about," and then boom, they're in. This one, just the same. Tell me about whatever. And then Scott walks in, and she gives that camera that look, and she's like.
We see from 2 different shots, like, from her looking to the cameraman to that way and her looking to the cameraman to the other way while she's eating that green goopy.
Yeah.
I want to try it, honestly,
it
but it looks
too bad.
Scary. Looks like I should put it in my hair.
But she broke the 4th wall.
Dude, that was awesome.
That was phenomenal. And that was total. That's why I think it was really unplanned, because I don't think you get that look out of Kim if you have to do that 5 times and get the right shot. That was like a spur of the moment, off the cuff thing.
And Kourtney she kind of didn't make eye contact too. She kept to the dishes or whatever she was doing in the sink because she knows that how bad that looks on her end. And I feel bad for her. At the same time, I don't feel bad because she's put up for so long when she's known better. But I do feel bad for her because she is trying to think about her kids and put them first. And like we said, that's her children's father. But yeah,
he's gonna be there. Unless he goes on a ridiculous lapse, or worst case scenario dies, which nobody wants.
Not.
And something like that. Unless something like that happens, he's going to be in their life in one level or another. You know, look at Lamar Odom, how he dealt with his father. Even though Lamar Odom's father in the Khloe and Lamar seasons a couple years ago, you know, Joe Odom, was that his name? He wasn't involved significantly in Lamar's life, but he kept popping in, you know, and part of that was the fame and whatever. But like, you can't get away from parents and children. These are relatives. This is blood. It's different. It's so much thicker than water. But Kourtney was in the wrong for sure, not to tell Kim. Kourtney's also in the wrong to have Scott over. It looks bad. But I worry with Kourtney too. Kim's pretty social to keep up appearances. Khloe is super social. Kendall and Kylie are like living the damn life because they should. They're young. And Kourtney's the oldest. Kourtney's got 3 kids. Kourtney settled down with a guy that did not pan out. And now she's unbelievably isolated. Socially, emotionally, everything is just isolated for her, at least relative to her sisters and stuff.
Right.
So it's like, how does she get back out there? And I don't mean dating. That's not going to happen for a long time. I'm just talking about how does she establish her life and her identity outside of Scott and honestly outside of the kids? Because for her mental health, she needs an identity away from just being a mom.
It's true. She she has been in that hamster wheel for years, and you're just stuck. It's routine. You're just used to it. You're stuck to it. You're thinking of yourself, I'm Scott's girlfriend and I'm their parents. Yeah, where's Kourtney? Where is she? And
if she's the family type, she's not a club type or whatever. So it's like, you know, if that's your type and if it's going well, great, go for it. That's wonderful. Mm-hmm. It's not going well. Yeah. And now she has to do double work. She's got to be dad too. I mean, this is what a single parent is. And this is another thing, like we were talking about with Caitlyn and how Caitlyn's transition story can be a way that the Kardashians, this way rich family, relates to a group of people, a different group of people. This can be a great relation point, and that's true. This is another one with Kourtney. This is single mom life. Yes, it's a very rich single mom, and yes, she has help that other single moms definitely don't.
Yeah.
But there's emotional stuff there that a nanny's just not going to do. Mm-hmm. You know, so this is an interesting storyline. It's a sad one.
It's very sad.
I feel bad for her. I will say last night, Diddy's birthday party, I don't know if you saw this on Instagram, Kourtney Kardashian was there.
Well, yeah, I was going to say, she actually has, social media has been showing that she has been going out a lot more recently. So that's good. She needs to have fun and, you know, like we said, kind of find herself or find who she's been kind of masking for a while, you know?
I think she should, and if she proves, obviously, that she's responsible enough to handle going out a time or two and not doing something stupid like Scott did and having the kids in line and in check, and she has the resources around her, I think this is a wise move for her. I don't think she should date, and I don't think she will. But you gotta have something, whether you want to say it's take your mind off of it or, you know, build a different identity or however you want to put it. You gotta have something. But yeah, am I being too harsh to say that Scott has totally lost me? And actually, let me ask the viewers. This is a better one. Am I alone in saying Scott has totally lost me? Because we've been so empathetic for this guy. Like, we're trying to feel this out with him because what he's going through is not fun. It's not cool. It's tough as hell. It's a sickness. It's not just his doing. It's a sickness.
Right.
But tonight, the Florida thing.
No, you're not alone, and you're not alone. We will never hopefully understand what he's going through. We'll never be in that situation, and we're not in that situation now, so we don't understand all of it. But you can only, you know, care for so long.
And this is not to say, like, are we rooting for him to get better?
Absolutely.
Hell yeah, absolutely. I mean, nobody wants to see anybody do badly. If you want to see an actual person do badly in any realm,
you're a horrible person.
Yeah, you gotta you know, readjust something in your life. But no, you want to see him get better and healthy, and you want to see the family get better. I would prefer Kourtney never goes back to him. That's a separate conversation. But as far as goofy Scott and fun Scott and Scott when he's on and he's so funny. I would feel guilty about indulging in that, having now seen first, you know, explicitly, primary source, we're watching this on camera. Are you going to go be with your son tonight? Nah, I'm going to Florida. Yeah. Like, dude, no.
Yeah, no,
I'm torn up. I don't know. It's stupid. It's bad. It's, you know, people, and again, I had both parents my whole life. Like, they're coming this week for Thanksgiving. So it's a little bit different for me. Maybe it's a lot deeper for somebody who hasn't and who sees this and is like, I've been through that. Dad did that to me. Mom did that to me. I've been through that personally. And that cuts, I'm sure, even deeper.
Yeah. I mean, if he if he's just popping in for like 10-15 minutes and your kid's already asking where'd he go, and they were saying he was gone for a month.
Yeah.
Like if you're that, you should not be, in my opinion, you should not be in your child's life. You can't just pop in, pop out. You're either in it or you're not in it. You know what I mean? Make a decision. Yeah. And even if you need to take care of yourself, and that means you have to separate yourself from your kids, take care of yourself as in actually take care of yourself, not go to make money at clubs. Get a new freaking job.
Yeah.
You know, grow up.
I'm with you. I'm 100%. That's one of the biggest impediments, it looks like, from our standpoint, is this stupid club appearances. And I know they're lucrative. Dude makes, what, 25, 50 grand for
like
showing up for a couple hours. Like, I get it. It's lucrative. You're at a club, whatever. But, I mean, excuse me, with the issues that he has going on, that is the last place he should be.
Yeah. You know, take care of yourself. Take care of yourself. And I hope he gets there.
So, I mean, what changes for him? Because we're going to keep hearing these rehab rumors. We heard one. He went to rehab for a time, a month ago or whatever, recently, and is out now and is back out now. But, like, I'm worried that it's one of these things where he hasn't hit rock bottom yet.
I was hoping, like, the whole thing with Lamar might have affected him. I don't know if it has. Because that's something private you're not going to go talk to the tabloids about. And, you know, we are behind like 5 months as we watch these episodes. So I don't know how that's affected him. And I kind of hope it kind of awakened him, you know?
Yeah.
But I honestly think the only way at this point, the only way he's going to really feel like it is if he, like you said, hits rock bottom. But I think that means like almost dying.
Yeah, I think.
And if he almost dies and still doesn't take care of himself, then he's like a lost cause.
Yeah. And it's magnified so much worse by children. If it were Scott and Courtney dated for a while, Scott goes off on a bender, we'd be like, that dude is ridiculous, you know? And that's what you do unfortunately with celebrities. Like, you make fun of them, or you know, look at how people treat Lindsay Lohan. Like, you make fun of people who have whatever's going on. You're kind of like, oh, that person's kind of weird or a joke or whatever. I mean, you marginalize them in one way or another. But with kids, with such visible kids and such a visible family,
I know. That's why I'm saying it sucks, because we don't really know what he's going through, and who are we to sit here and say something? But they are in the public eye. He is in the public eye, and, you know, we're going to make opinions about him. I just wish everyone would kind of shift all their negative comments to positivity. Saying, like, I give up on him isn't negative. It's just like, what, you can't do anything. You don't know him. But, you know, I just hope he gets it together.
Yeah, I mean, best of luck. I don't know. Let's move on to a little lighter topic, I guess. Khloe in Australia.
Khloe in Australia.
So here's the thing. This is what I got from Khloe.
Panda bears have chlamydia. That's what I got.
Koala bears?
Shit. Koala bears.
Do not spread slanderous rumors
about panda bears,
on this show.
Yes, koalas. And you know what's so weird is I just saw someone, oh, you know what? It's probably someone saw it ahead of time, because I saw someone tweet about koala bears and chlamydia today, and I was like, that's so strange. But maybe they watched it earlier or something. Okay, cool. Anyways, moving on. Australia.
So the one serious takeaway I had from Australia was Khloe doing the media junkets. So what you do, so media junkets like this, and it's different for TV and movies a little bit, and products and stuff. But like when you see like Jennifer Lawrence on the Hunger Games, you see like one of those interviews where she's sitting in front of the movie poster. Right. This is the same deal, and Khloe will sit there for 8 hours.
Just like,
and literally they will just funnel in journalist after journalist after journalist.
I know.
60 people she talked to. So you're answering the same damn question 60 times.
I would go insane.
And there's a lot harder ways to make your money. Talk to people who work outside. Talk to people who, talk to wait staff at restaurants and stuff. There's a lot harder ways to make your money, and a lot of people making less money. But for people who say the Kardashians don't work, this is difficult. It's a different kind of difficult, but this is this thing will screw with you. It's tough to do. It's a mental thing. I would go
insane. And I like that you bring that up, that, people say Kardashians don't work, because that's the biggest argument ever. But if you think about it, no one says that about actors. I mean, actors are working. It's a fun job, but no one sits there and criticizes them the same way they criticize the Kardashians. And they're doing the same exact thing.
Actors hate these press junkets because they're so repetitive. And these things, It's tough to have it both ways. It's tough to say, well, this isn't a job. These people don't work, because it is. They're working hard, and there's a brand you have to put out, and you have to be on all the time. You have to be on for 8 straight hours.
I was actually surprised that Khloe was like, I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't even know what we're talking about anymore. I was like, wow, Khloe.
But that's what happens. So you're on for 8 hours, and then somebody says, hey, Khloe, so like, what do you think about terrorism? You know, which is a topic in conversation now. This is hypothetical. But she says something that then gets spewed controversially,
Right.
or she says something not thinking that is controversial or whatever, and that's the gotcha question. That's how you get got by the media.
Right.
And it's legit. It happens. It's people, careers get changed by this stuff because you're there for 8 and 10 hours. And
You
I'm
get
not
delusional.
I'm not throwing her a pity party. She makes a ton of money, but you got to understand that she's working her ass off doing this stuff. It's not traditional work.
You just got off a 11, 13 plus hour flight. When she kept saying what time it was, I was like, AM or PM, and I didn't know, so she did. She's. I would hate that. I would rather wait tables for 5 hours than do a press junket for like 16.
You got to be on all the time. You're meeting fans, the meet and greet with fans and stuff. All that's fun. And everybody's like, oh, I'd love a celebrity's life. Yeah, man, the first 2 or 3 times, I would love to do that.
I would
not.
not.
But the 50th time you do that, you just got to grind it out. And that's kind of her angle in the story is she's grinding it out. The other 2 are home with kids. They have issues going on. Khloe's like, I'm just hanging out over here.
Yeah.
And she's the one left to grind it out. Do you think she was right? Before we get to Malika's point, just Khloe in general, do you think it was right for Khloe to go to Kourtney and Kim and confront them and be like, hey, pull your weight?
I think, well, if it's a consistent thing, which it sounds like it kind of is, I would definitely say something and be like, just like what she said, I kind of need a day for myself at times because it is a lot of work. Flying around, jet lag, dealing with the same questions, reporters, paparazzi, all that stuff, that it is tiring, especially if it's a Kardashian brand thing. You guys need to handle that all together. Of course, there's going to be exceptions and stuff like that. Like, I wouldn't think that, Kim would be flying somewhere when she's about to pop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's a Kardashian brand named Kardashian Kids, and especially in this instance because she's the only one that doesn't have kids. If it was a Khloe thing, like her book, that's on her. But yeah, I do think she should have said something, and she did, and it's a valid point.
Yeah, if this is a consistent thing, it's kind of one of the first times we're hearing about Khloe's angle on this. But if this is a consistent thing, I hope they address it. But the weirdest thing to me is Khloe doesn't have any damn kids, and you're putting her on Kardashian Kids. The one Kardashian without kids, send either one of the other 2, or don't launch it that week or do it that week.
Right.
And I know there's a lot that goes into it,
Right.
but it's weird to send the non-kid Kardashian.
Well, she has nieces and nephews, so it kind of makes sense. But yes, I agree. They should have planned better that way. At least maybe even Kim could have gone instead of Kourtney.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But then she got to go in a hot air balloon.
Dude, that's so cool. I've always wanted to go in a hot air balloon. She went in a hot air balloon, and she went to see the drag show.
That's true. I forgot about that. I had the opportunity to go in a hot air balloon once in Turkey, in the Middle East.
Oh, man, that's awesome.
You should go to Turkey, by the way. Turkey's phenomenal. And I chose to do ATVs instead, and it was totally worth it. I'm a boy. I live dangerously.
You can ATV anywhere. You can't.
Yeah, but
you can't.
We were
hot air
ATV in this
balloon.
place called Cappadocia, which is these really unique rock formations. Like we saw this cool stuff.
That's kind of cool.
And I'm a legitimate badass, so I had to do the ATV. I got a couple scars.
Bobby's badass.
Yeah, I don't have any scars.
I would have done both. How about that?
Well, yeah, but we didn't have a lot of money.
Oh. When you are not a Kardashian.
When you're not a Kardashian, living how the other half lives.
Right.
No, that was a lot of fun. But point is, I've never been in a hot air balloon. Look gorgeous. I'm sure a lot of folks out there probably have. They're big in New Mexico for what it's worth.
Cool.
Yeah.
And wine country?
Yeah. Oh, are they? Is that where?
I think so.
Okay.
I feel like I've seen my friends' Instagram things like that.
All right. Well, hey, Kardashian outing. We're going to go in a hot air balloon next week. That would be a great idea, actually.
I'm actually kind of scared of heights, but I would do it.
I wonder if you feel... We're getting way off topic.
Yes.
I wonder if you can feel the height. Because the balloon, like the basket looks small.
you can literally look...
Yeah, you can. But the basket looks small from far away, but I have a feeling it's gigantic, and it's, bigger than you think.
I would be standing right in the middle.
What if they need to, do the fire from the.
Nope.
All right, sounds like maybe this isn't the thing for you. I think that's about it. What else do we talk about with Khloe going to Australia? I mean, we got Malika's other advice, which we kind of covered, and I think Malika was right to bring it up, which was talk to Kourtney and Kim. That's about all I got, man.
Yeah, we have a little gossip.
What do we have?
Well, I guess we should get there then.
Yeah, let's do it. I didn't know we had gossip.
The hockey puck.
Let's do gossip.
Well, I talking about people, saying the Kardashians don't have work and blah blah blah. Someone, I forgot who it was, but someone put together a Vimeo video, and it was from how Khloe and Kylie and the Jenner sisters and the Kardashian sisters, they have oh my god, brain freeze. They have their websites where you can sign up and you get videos you can't see elsewhere. So I guess there was a video, one of her tutorials that she does with makeup for Kylie, and the guy did it backwards and at the same time read in a really monotone kind of weird voice.
I saw this.
Yeah, comments that people leave in their comments. And so it was almost symbolic, they said, because she's taking off her makeup because it was going backwards. So all these comments just like strip them down, and I see it all the time when I'm looking on their social media. I just see these people and I just can't. I'm like, do you not have anything better to do, to sit there and say crap about?
I was talking to some industry folks about this the other day. We were talking about this literally on Friday, I believe it was. And here's this exact video.
Yes.
Here's the thing. If it were you, if you had posted a video on Instagram, we are like public figures, I guess, because we're like promoting ourselves and stuff, but it's a little bit different. There's a different level. If you had promoted a video and thousands of people were like, you're ugly, you're fat, your hair's messed up, your face messed up, that's ridiculous. But when you're Kylie Jenner, who's signed up for this, has consented to this, turning 18.
She didn't really sign up for
she's
it, but
consented to this now. She bought a house. She bought a house with this money.
Right.
She's selling hair extensions now to get more of this money. You sign up for it. It doesn't make it right that people to comment that ridiculously negatively is a waste of energy. But like, this is what you sign up for as a celebrity. If you don't want it, don't be a celebrity. And I hate to make it seem that crass, and there's this whole bullying online thing, which is a legitimate thing, but celebrities and bullying online don't match up. It's different with a legitimate celebrity public figure who is making money off the same damn persona that you are trolling,
Yeah.
So that's like, to me, it's where the line kind of gets crossed, I guess.
I mean, I don't think it's okay at all. It doesn't matter if you're a celebrity or not. And I'm, one to think that everyone in the world could one day be nice and friendly. But, just because they signed up for it doesn't mean that they deserve that. And I don't think people realize how much they do it, because it doesn't happen to them. Because most of these people are just nobodies, people that don't even put up their profile picture because they're hiding behind their keyboard. But I just thought that was kind of it wasn't like anything crazy cool, but I thought it was very interesting for someone to put it together, because especially Kylie has been in gossip and news so much lately, and she's the youngest, and she's probably going to be so way more affected and different than she would have probably been on a different path than any of the sisters, because she's the youngest. You know what I mean?
I don't know. I would argue it differently again, not just to play devil's advocate, but she's 18. She grew up on the internet in a different way than even you and I did. And we grew up on the internet. We're not old, but she grew up another whatever, how many years back. She's a native. So it's like, she's used to this. I mean, you said if it's nameless, faceless commenters, they have no value.
Yeah.
What do you care? If it were major, if E! News were saying terrible things about Kylie, you'd be like, well, wait a second, this is really weird. But if it's a random person on Instagram, it's like, well, how much do you value that person anyways?
Yeah, no, I completely agree with that.
I just
that
feel
comment.
like, I don't know. And it sounds like crass or maybe insensitive, and I'm sorry, but it's like, even people do it to me. I'm like, and I don't get it, 1 millionth of what Kylie does. But when people do it to me or whatever, I'm like, okay,
Bobby, you're like
I like encourage it. You've seen me encourage it on this show,
and I'm like, Bobby, stop, help.
I love that kind of stuff, because it's just so it's just so irrelevant, you know? And so if you get 1 million people doing that, you have another 1 million more who are on your side. You know, it's the 80-20 rule. 80% of stuff is pretty good, 20% is really shitty. If you have 1 million people who are really shitty, that means you got 4 million who are probably pretty good. Like those are good numbers.
You know what I think that there should be a job. Maybe there is a job like I mean, it's kind of like the social media people, but I would love to just get paid by the Kardashians to go through their Instagram feeds and just delete all the negative comments off of their. I think that's a very cool job, and I am signing up for it. Sending my resume, Kardashians.
What's your salary demand?
Ooh, I don't know. I don't know what like their assistants and whatever, but I'm making that. That's what I'm making.
Probably not as much as you think.
Really?
Yeah.
At least $100K.
Ooh, I don't think they make that.
Really?
Yeah,
okay,
not
well,
at all.
That's what I want. Anyways, but speaking of Australia, Kylie and Kendall were in Australia promoting.
How are you on all this gossip, man? You're on top of it.
I forgot what they were promoting. Was it H&M?
I have no idea what they're promoting.
I completely just forgot. Oh my god. Something like that. But yeah, they were out in Australia too.
We got to talk about the big gossip. Kylie Jenner did break up with Tyga.
I was kind of easing into it.
And then didn't break up with Tyga.
Well, okay,
and now they are on a break.
Okay, so how do you know this stuff? Because all I know is Twitter was up in roar about, oh my god, it's Tyga's birthday and she broke up with him. So she wasn't at his birthday party.
Correct.
And no one wished him happy birthday from the family. But then, I follow her on Snapchat, and there's a snap of them holding hands, and she's like, you guys need to chill. People are, like, over-analyzing her other snaps.
Well, no. Sources. Like, all these news outlets are confirming that sources and family sources and stuff were confirming they broke up, and then he did something with a stripper was one allegation.
I mean, that seems normal for these kind of guys, you know what I mean?
I mean, I guess, like, with his history with Black China is all complicated. Black China's having a hell of a day on Friday, because didn't she release like a video on Friday too?
I don't know.
And this was the day that the breakup came. But now apparently they are on a break.
But like, who says that? Who said that?
I just saw that roll across the screen on E.
Oh.
That's the only.
Well, if E says it, it's true.
Well, E does the damn Kardashians. I would expect them to know.
Yeah. I don't know. But yeah, that's apparently gossip, guys.
I don't know.
People break up all the time, you know?
They do, and 18-year-olds break up all the time, and Tyga's 42 or however old he is.
He's like 25.
Yeah, he's 26.
He's younger than me.
But 18-year-olds...
Oh, yeah, he just has birthday, so he's older.
18-year-olds break up all the time, so... Whatever.
I know, like, on and off relationships, that's so...
We're just trying to keep the people up to date.
Yeah. I haven't... Yeah, I think mostly everything that I've seen is just Kylie.
She's King Kylie. She's next up.
Speaking of Kylie, a little personal thing right now. Remember the episode was it for Kim's wedding? Where she had blue hair and she didn't want her to... I totally went to a wedding last weekend. That's why I wasn't here, guys. With blue hair. And I was so self-conscious. And one friend came up to me and was like, oh my God, you're like Kylie in that episode with the wedding. And I was like, oh my God. Shall we?
That's phenomenal.
Yeah. Anyways.
Did the bride and groom mind?
They made comments, but ultimately I don't think they mind. I was actually very, very...
welcomed?
Well, no, I was very nervous about coming. I didn't think my hair would still be blue at this point. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about dyeing hair, so congratulations.
Yeah, thanks. Blue.
Oh, Lord. I think that's about it. You want to do any predictions?
Nah.
No. Like, what are we going to predict?
That the show's going to keep going.
I predict we'll be back next weekend. I know, in fact, that we'll be back next weekend. Holiday aside, are you going to be here or are you out of town?
I should be here.
Okay, good. I'm definitely here. Nick is back. Or, excuse me, Sterling's back.
Sterling's back.
So we'll have 3 on the panel. That's good. And in the meantime, happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yes, happy early Thanksgiving.
If you celebrate, I hope you have a wonderful week. If you do a Friendsgiving, which Kylie did a Friendsgiving the other night. If you do a Friendsgiving, I hope you have a good one. If you do a Thanksgiving, I hope you have a wonderful one.
Eat lots of good food.
Eating turkey, watching football, falling asleep early, waking up and eating some more.
Food coma. Wear stretchy pants, guys.
Oh, Lord. Okay. On that note, Frankie, social media, not for trolling, not for hate, but only for love.
Yes, I'll delete your mean comments.
Twitter, Instagram, where do you go?
XOXOCESCA.
Pretty simple. I am on Twitter at Bobby DeMuro, Instagram at Mr. Bobby DeMuro. That's it for us this week on the Keeping Up with the Kardashians after show right here on AfterBuzz TV. We'll be back in 7 days. Can't wait for you guys to be back there with us. Remember, comment, subscribe, like on YouTube. We check the comments all week. That's it, guys. Have a wonderful short week with the holiday, and we'll see you next Sunday.
Bye.
AfterBuzz TV. From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.